how do you make big improvements as a trader very fast? Welcome to a new Traders Improve podcast. Welcome from the beautiful Italy. I'm right at the region between the German, Switzerland, Austrian border in Italy. So it's practically like being in Germany, but with mountains and good Italian food. And I am in my hotel room doing my watch list preparation since it's a Sunday here. And I thought I'd talk about an approach. It's quite early here, sorry. It's called bottom up. And what this means is that, and it refers to learning and improvements. And if you have done my mental edge course, the psychology course, it's also one thing that I focus on very heavily. And it means that in order to make the biggest improvements, you need to identify your greatest weakness. And it resonated also, this topic, well, it came back up in my mind after I listened to the David Goggins audiobook yesterday on the way from Switzerland to Italy. And he also said that most people, they said that you have to triple down on your weakness, on your strengths. But he believes, and I kind of agree, that in order to really achieve greatness and to make big progress, you need to focus on your weakness as well. Because, well, okay, you can be very good at if you just leverage your strength, but if you completely neglect your weaknesses, it will only take you so far. And, well, it depends on the area, obviously, but you will not always be able to navigate around your weaknesses, and you have to tiptoe around through life and just trying to avoid your weakness. But eventually you will hit a situation or whatever where you just cannot avoid facing your weaknesses. And if you are not equipped to dealing with your weakness, then obviously you're in a very bad position. So in trading, what I recommend for traders to do is that in order for you to make the biggest improvement, you need to look at the most obvious task ahead. And you need to ask yourself, and not just ask yourself, where is my biggest weakness? Where am I losing the most amount of money? Most traders make a mistake that they focus on the nitty-gritty, on all this fancy stuff. How do I squeeze out a little bit here more? How do I let my trades run a little bit longer? How do I set my stop loss a little bit tighter? How can I improve my reward to risk ratio a little bit more? How can I get in a little bit earlier? And those are all important. They all have their place, obviously. But whenever I coach a trader, and whenever I want to help out traders, I ask them, okay, but where are you actually losing the most amount of money? Or where you are leaving most amount of money on the table? And this is often an eye-opener for people, because what this shows then more often than not, is that the big problems are at the core, at the foundation of their trading. And it can be, or what is often the case, is that people are not very good with risk management. For example, they over-leverage, they revenge trade. For me, when I started out, which is now 13 years ago, one of my big problems was that I was really bad is getting out of losing trades. And sorry, that's my dog next to me on the couch. And what I would always do is that I would always widen my stop loss, because I always thought, the price, it will come around, it will turn around. And then one day I looked at my trading data, and I just went through my last 20 or 30 trades, something like that. And I realized that if I would have just cut my losses when the stop loss would have hit and not extended my stop or added to a losing trade, I could have been already break even, maybe even slightly profitable, just fixing this one thing. And this was a huge eye-opener for me, because I was always focusing on the wrong things. And, well, let's be honest, most traders, they don't even know actually what they're doing. So we need to start there. So just ask yourself, and I like to bring this question up a lot, just ask yourself, do you remember your last 5 trades? Maybe you do, but do you remember your last 10 trades? And I can guarantee you that 99.9% of the traders, me included, I cannot recall the last 10 trades on top of my head. It is just not possible for me. At least, maybe you are a genius, but I cannot recall my last 10 trades. And this means, and it shows the necessity, that you really need to have a review process. Without a review process, you're just going to chase your own tail, because what happens is that traders always have beliefs. Okay, I should have done this, or maybe this is better, but they're not really understanding what they're doing. They don't understand where the money is, where they're leaving the money on the table, where they have the big performance leaks. So everything they're doing is based on guesswork. And let's get practical a little bit. What I would recommend, and that's what I tell my students as well, you take a piece of paper. On the left side you write winning trades, on the right side you write losing trades. And then you go through your last 20, 30, 40 trades, one by one. And it doesn't have to take long. It's not complicated. For each trade, you just write down, for the winning trades, what did you do well? What really stands out about the trade? And for the losing trades, you write down, okay, was this a mistake that you made? What caused the loss? Was everything done all right? Or maybe something that, without the benefit of hindsight, could have been avoided or should have been avoided. And then you just look for commonalities. You look for the big things that really jump at you. You don't want to look for just single events, but you want to look for, except for if they really, if you have one trade, for example, and it wipes out 20 or 30% of your account, then you need to pay attention to that. But usually it will become very, very obvious quickly when you look at your piece of paper and you see, okay, I keep repeating this mistake, and if I could just stop doing this, my performance would be significantly better. And I've seen it time and again that this can be a huge eye-opener. So bottom up basically means then that you really focus on what makes a big difference, instead of trying to fix 10 little things here and there that each maybe contributes a little bit. You look at what makes really a big difference right now. And this is then also how a review process is really actually a lot of fun, because most traders, well, I know that since we built Edgewong, most people say, journaling, that sucks, it's boring, it's tedious. But it's only because they don't see the benefit, and you will see the benefit right away once you really understand that it doesn't take a lot of work. And once you just get into the habit of actually having a review process, you can transform your whole trading, and it will suddenly become obvious where and how to fix your problems. And I hope you take me up on that challenge. 5 to 10 minutes is really all it takes. Go through your last 20, 30 trades and look for big commonalities. And then you will probably see where you have been leaking money. And if you find something, let me know in the comments below, wherever you're watching this, YouTube, Spotify, I'm not sure, Podbeans, and let me know what you found out, and if this really was a helpful exercise. I look forward to hearing from you. Until the next time, happy trading.